My name's Sam Bubbleman. I've been making bubbles since 1989 and I now hold 9 Guinness World Records for my bubbles, 3 Blue Peter badges, which I'm very proud of, because you know you can't wear the Guinness World Records. There's something intrinsically amazing about bubbles. One of the things I think that people really love about bubbles but don't maybe realise is that it's about playing with water. You think about a bubble, 98% water, your brain 90% water. That means there's only 8% difference between your brain and a bubble. I mean, it was a hobby for the first 11 years. And then in 2000 I turned professional and I set up this company, Bubble Ink. And it was very evident when I started the company that I had found my calling in life. I'd found my path. And I'm so grateful to life that I managed to find that, you know. And bubbles as well, I mean, what a great part. And I try not to blow my own bubble trumpet too much about it because it's bubbles in themselves are way above and beyond the call of what people consider incredible. The colours that you see on the surface of the bubble, each of those colours represents a different thickness of the wall. Rich greens and purples and blues and oranges, and then at the top it gets golden because what's actually happening is gravity's pulling the solution down to the bottom of the bubble to get the thicker colours, the greens and purples down at the bottom. And beyond gold it then goes black. And it can go beyond that to a point where you can't even see the top of the bubble anymore because it's so thin. It's thinner than a ray of light. Our eyes can't perceive it, but we know it must be there because you can see the bottom of it. Talk about the most meaningful bubble I've ever made. 6 years ago, my dad passed away from cancer, about this time of year actually, and I wanted to make bubbles at his funeral, and I wasn't sure how some of my family might react. Maybe somebody might not agree. Maybe it's controversial. I don't know. So I thought, well, you know, if I ask him and he says yes, then it doesn't really matter what anyone else says. He's my father, and if he wants it to happen, and it's his funeral, and I want it to happen, then I'll do it anyway. So I went to talk to him. He said he thought it was a lovely idea, and he'd spoken about it with his wife, and they thought of something else that they wanted me to do as well, which was, and this was really the thing for me, it was just amazing to hear my dad say this. He wanted me to put some of his ashes into a bubble solution and then send him off into the wind over the cliffs of Cornwall. And I mean, it was just the most meaningful bubble experience I've ever had. I guess, I don't know, my dad was reaching the end of his life, and to have that experience and to be asked that by my dad was just very moving. The bubble was zipping off and spinning round and flying back and coming past you, and every time you think, oh look, there's a bit of my dad going into the wind. And every time I'm bubbling outside now and I feel the breeze on the back of my neck, it's like he's there, you know, and I'm putting him in a bubble again. A lot of people ask me, don't you ever get bored of bubbles? And I mean, I don't. People's reactions to what I do and to bubbles in general is amazing. That always keeps me overjoyed to see people smile. It makes them happy. I mean, it's not complicated in a way. It's just people love it, and it can have a really strong effect on a lot of people. You can see in their eyes they've had 20, 30, 40 years taken off them, and the conversation that they're having with me at that moment, they could be 10 again. People miss those days when they had less to worry about, I guess, and treated life in a more open-minded way, you know, and that's a beautiful thing when you talk to people who are in that world, being put in touch with their inner bubble. It's great.